Giggity, giggity, giggity.
Woo!
Let's go
Welcome to the
racing,
booth, boys.
Welcome back to the booth, two of my good friends. We have Robbie Vids from England. We have T. Clay from North Carolina. This is Puddin from the state of Ohio. Boys, two of my good buddies. How are you, man? I enjoyed that last race commentating with you. Glad to have you guys back.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Good racing, good commentating, good broadcast.
Man, let me tell you what, it is exciting to be in the booth with you two tonight. We already had one good race. I cannot wait. I am looking forward to this next upcoming race. It's going to be a good one. These guys have got a little heat after that big wreck we saw at Michigan with just 5 laps to go. Let's see if they can get it back together and get this race Chicagoland on the road.
What we have different from Michigan to Chicagoland is maybe the opportunity to not run as many lines. There's going to be 1 or 2 preferred lines, whereas Michigan, you could see 3 and 4 wide through a corner and they could hold it. Robbie, what would you do at Chicagoland on the first 2 laps to make sure that you're still in contention but not get so far back that you can't keep up with people?
For the first 2 laps, I would do... One sec. For the first 2 laps, I would do what I do on every single lap on Chicagoland, and that's run my line over and over and over. Coming into turn 3 and 4, I actually let off. And as I come to that white line, that's my accelerating point to bring it in nice and tight around 3 and 4. Then drift out wide and then come under that white line on home stretch.
Clay, coming off of turn 4, going down that front stretch on the D shape, are you a fan of going below that bottom white line to cut a couple tenths off? Some people agree with it, some people don't. What's your opinion on that, Clay?
Oh yeah, man, I'm all in there, man. I think it's a great idea, especially if you're trying to get a little jump on the guy ahead of you or the guy behind you. It's definitely a faster little route through there, especially if you get somebody good in there with you at draft. Just like at Michigan, though, man, I'm telling you, this track, you get 2 or 3 wide in there, it can get really loose, especially in turn 1, 2, 3, and 4, along with the front stretches. You do not want to hit that apron in these turns. It will throw you for a spin, and you will wreck everybody behind you because there is nowhere to go at Chicagoland.
And if you bump the walls here, some people compared this track to other tracks like Kansas where you can run that high line. Can you? Yes. Can you do it proficiently? We'll find out tonight. Anytime you bump that wall, that's a couple tenths. A couple tenths can lead to a couple carlings. When you're leading a race or you're trying to gain somebody, Robbie, where would your safe play be? Where would your safe line be to know that you can keep up with those people?
A safe line would just be the same as usual for me, really. Same as Michigan. Michigan and Chicagoland are so similar. I'll just ride the draft and just follow where they're going. That's what I would just do over and over. But I'd also try and find somebody that runs the same line as me. And like I said before, and that's running that outside, letting off, coming into 3 and 4, accelerating at that white line, coming down on the inside. Just keep doing that.
On the anticipation level of some of these new hot seat drivers that we saw leading and were in the front group of that last race, where do you think their anxious level, their anxiety, where do you think their I want to push harder level to prove themselves because of a bad accident or something is going to come into play here, Clay? Robbie?
Okay, yeah, I don't think Clay's here right now. So, yeah, run that question by me again, buddy.
The hot seat drivers that just proved themselves that could run up front. They ran up front, they were leading. We saw a couple drivers that could have won that race, but within a few caution laps, a few laps ago, get brought in that caution. What do you think the hot seat drivers are going to do to prove themselves in this race?
I think they're going to push the whole entire race this time. They've had a taste of some of the cup racing with the boys in Giggity, and now they're probably going to want some more at Chicagoland. I mean, like I said before, Michigan and Chicagoland for me are quite similar, so we're definitely going to see them within the top 5 tonight.
I think throttle control, I think tire maintenance or tire wear and patience is going to be a thing, and something that we bring up quite a bit in Giggity Racing League is that reassurance in yourself. How is that going to come into play tonight too? You don't want to push too hard. You don't want to wear your car out. If we go long green flags, we are doing game cautions, not strict cautions. We know how that can unfortunately benefit and
just running a higher line, really. Instead of running down the bottom on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just run a little bit higher. I would say maybe a lane and a half to the second lane, just to save that little bit of percentage on new tyres.
Yeah, Puddin', I'm gonna do the lineup real quick.
Go ahead, buddy.
Tonight's race, we've got K Taddy, we've got Spank Racer, we've got OG Infu, we got Checkmate, No Pit Pendle, Book, excuse me. We got Wicked Gatekeeper, Noco, Woodruff Sport, Buck, RCN, K-Mac, RJ Smitty, winner of the last race, Boomhauer, Blakey T, Mills, A-Trout, Life's Plant, and that is your lineup for your race tonight at Chicagoland.
So who do you think is going to be the sleeper tonight? I mean, we did talk about this at Michigan.
I think it's going to be K Taddy here. I think it is.
You reckon?
Yeah, I believe K Taddy's going to win this race. I'm telling you, he didn't have a real good race last race, but he didn't get himself in a bind. He didn't get in hardly any accidents, and he's going in this race right here with a good mindset. And I think he's going to pull this one out.
What about you, Puddin'?
I'm going to have to go with, you were a little bit biased before. I'm going to be a little bit biased this time, especially after how he proved himself his first cup race. Blakey T. He's always in the right spot at the wrong time. He's always up front. He's always smooth. He might make a little door-to-door contact, but it's not deliberate, He's in the wrong spot at the right time, vice versa. I'm going to say Blakey T's got something for these boys tonight at Chicagoland, and he is a short track guy.
Spanky. Let's not forget about Spanky.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I reckon we're going to see Spanky and No Pit Pendle in the top 5 tonight, definitely.
Yeah, No Pit, I noticed earlier, he's pretty good at these bigger tracks.
Yeah, he is.
Fast, very fast.
Yeah.
I think this track tonight, though, is going to be one of those tracks where your tape and your wedge and those tires pressures are really going to give you the little edge on the guys that didn't get to adjust or didn't get to practice enough to get their car to the fastest potential it can. Chicagoland is a super, super fast track. If you don't hit that line right going in 1 and 2, the guy behind you or in front of you can gain seconds like it's nothing every lap.
Oh, yeah.
And 2 seconds is an eternity. I mean, if you can gain that time, if you can gain an eternity, that says something. Tenths is a huge amount of time, but if you can gain seconds, sorry, Robbie, go ahead, that's going to gain you something down the backstretch.
And you can't just do it on one lap. You have to do it over and over and over. You got to hit those marks every single time. And it can be distracting when you got drivers. Hear a guy behind you or beside you, you're going to miss your mark. Get a message or a notification. You can miss your mark. You got to try and ignore all that. Focus on where you want to go and hit your marks over and over.
All right, qualifying just ended. I just went into the lobby and came back out. It's currently on post-race, so we should be able to enter that race within probably about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes for the people watching at home.
No, that's awesome. So, I hate to call it, but we're going to do it anyway. Who's going to win Chicagoland? For the people watching, who's going to win Chicagoland? Or even a team, who's going to get the top 3, Let us know.
Standpoint is from race to race. You get to know numbers. Like I said, I don't even have my notes in front of me. 19's OG, 1 is NoCo, 24 is RJ Smitty, 88 in this case is Blakey T. Who's going to bring out what paint scheme?
I don't know. That is true. Somebody could have switched their paint scheme up on us from the last race.
Yeah. Take a guess. Who do you think is going to change the paint scheme? I reckon Noco's going to change his.
I know Blakey T's not changing his.
I was going to say Noco and RJ Smitty are my bets for changing.
I was going to say exactly the same.
All right, we got the invite here. We're not going to hit it yet. We're going to wait just a little bit, let them get in there, and then we're going to pound in there, and we're going to get this race going live with the Giggity Racing League at Chicagoland in the Preset Cup Elite Series.
There's one person we haven't spoke about much tonight, and he ran up the front a lot in Michigan, and that was RJ Smitty himself. Now, how do you think he's going to do in this race, T. Clay?
I think he's going to do good. I think him and K Taddy might hook up together here and take the 1-2 spot.
As you said, you compare Chicagoland to Michigan, Robbie?
Yep.
RJ Smitty just won. Sure. He led most of that race. He was competitive all of that race. He's in the he's in that track. Same consistency, that same throttle pickup, that same mindset.
All right, here we go. We're actually live now, heading into the loading screen at Chicagoland Speedway for the Giggity Elite Series 200. So let's talk about these presets that we mentioned for the guys and women that aren't familiar with what we're talking about there, Puddin'. Can you give them a little rundown on what preset is, how it works, how many different options are there, and what kind of recommendations do you think these guys are running for a preset here at Chicagoland?
Recommendation, everybody's recommendations are on their own driving style. One being the tightest, the hardest to turn, but not quite wear your car out, but it still will wear your tires out. 5 being that medium, not too, it'll still turn, but it won't turn, but it's not too loose, but it'll still move on you. And a 9 being the loosest out there. As your tires wear off, your car's going to be like it's on ice skates. But we all know, thanks to Cold Trickle, loose is fast. Everybody's got their own preference, and especially on a long race. For me personally, I like to set my car up a little tighter, knowing with the tires wearing away that it will loosen up. So when it does loosen up, I still have a little control. Everybody has their own preference. 1 being hard, barely can turn it, if you would say that. 9 being turn, but will wear yourself out and be on ice skates. That's the best way I could explain that.
Question for both of you right here.
Go ahead.
I've heard this over and over again. We've got multiple guys that run loose and then they tighten their car up, and then we've also got people that run tight and then loosen their car up. When you're at a race like Chicagoland, are you going to run a loose setup and tighten it up, or are you going to run a tight setup and loosen it up?
Robbie, go first.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to run. I'm going to run what we now call with NoCo Team Racing, Slider Jake. We're going to run Slider 4. Because that lad, he runs 4 near enough everywhere. If he's not running 4, he's running 5. So yeah, Slider 4 or 5, Slider Jake.
Slider Jake. I was going to say 5. 5 being that it'll be loose, a little tight, kind of hard to turn at the beginning, but as those tires wear out, still manageable and controllable. So if I'm not part of Robbie's Giggity Racing team, but we'll have to go with Slider J2 as a 5.
Yeah, see, me, I'm opposite, Dan. I'm the kind of guy that I run a loose setup, and then I might tighten it up and throw a lot of wedge in there. Depending on what track, probably not a lot of wedge here at this track just because of how big it is, or tape, excuse me. But I really like to set up my cars up. I'd probably run a 7, 8, or 9 here, just depending on what it did on quick race and how it handles. But I like the looser setup and then tighten them up as we go. Change the tire pressures, take them down a little bit.
Buck is taking away with that clean air, and we're seeing back there for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th 4Y racing already. Let's see which preferred line is going to be of choice here, Robbie and Clay. Like I said, Buck is loving that clean air and that beautiful 62 car.
Man, he's got a heck of a lead going right here in the first stage. He must have his car set up from get-go. I don't know if he needs to change anything after watching this run he's got going right here.
He's got that
Well,
Chevy power under his hood. Right behind him, we got R.J. Smitty way back there in the middle of the field. He did change his paint scheme like we did call, Robbie. He's back with one of the old Jeff Gordon paint scheme. And Noko, as I can see behind him, he did change his paint schemes too, as we said. But, beside the point, that's a little uncharacteristic to see Noko and R.J. Smitty this far back this early.
Yeah, I'm watching R.J. Smitty right now. I'm not sure if it's just the broadcast view, but it looks like he might be a little loose.
A Trout
Yeah,
also with
I
a paint
agree.
scheme on the side of 37. He changed his paint scheme. It looked like there was quite a few paint scheme changes, Robbie. You and I, we guessed right, but we didn't guess as many.
Yeah, we should have put money on it. That's what we should have done.
We should have put a
that's what-
Twinkie on it.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
could have had you another
It's
Twinkie to
something
send to
I've never
England.
But anyway, going back to what sliders are going to be used. I mean, for you guys watching, what slider would you use at Michigan? What slider would you use at Chicagoland?
Thinking of
And,
7
going
here.
back- Yeah,
I'm a
see-
5 at Chicago. I'm a 6 at Michigan, and at Watkins Glen, I'm an 8 or 9. Mid Ohio, I'm 8 or 9. It just depends on where I'm at.
Oh, 21 around.
Oh, 21 is round hard.
Yep.
Talladega, I'm a 1 or a 2. It just all depends.
You know,
I do believe that's going to bring out our first dandelion. We got a first caution on the track, guys.
yeah, talking about the sliders, you know, it really depends on how your car handles for the full amount of that fuel window you got. These races here, you want to have a fast car in these first couple stages because you're going to have a stage caution. You're going to be able to reset your car, so you might not want to keep the same car for the stages that you do for the final run. But like Robbie always says, set that car up for a long run at the end of the race, because those guys that are fast and they're getting those fast times in, those tires are wearing down and they are going to get slower, and you do not want to get caught with bad tires at 20 laps to go.
No, Robbie, being participant of GRL, the Giggity Racing League, how many drivers are on a wheel and how many are actually on a controller? Because there's a different way you want to set your car up. There's people out there on a controller who roll that joystick. And then there's other people you can hear them tap, 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 tap. But as you tap, 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 in theory, that turns that wheel. It burns your front tires out harder because it's friction where you roll it. What would you do if you were on a controller or a wheel? Because each setup is different.
That's a good thing that you've actually asked me that, because racing through these races, I've actually been using a controller and a wheel. And looking at the tyre wear, I've done tracks where I'm tapping, I've done tracks where I'm running it smooth, and there's also tracks where, I've got my seat and my wheel out and run around the track as well. Now, I've got to say, you're right with the tapping. You're wearing tyres more. You're not wearing tyres as much with your controller, and with the wheel, it's just so
Plus, this friction that
smooth.
slows you down, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, if you're tapping too much, you could catch it wrong when you're coming into the corner, like turn 3 here. If you do that wrong, you're going to tap it at the wrong time. Then it's going to go the other way, throw the weight of the car the other way, and then next thing you know, you to handle your car and you can wreck somebody.
Yeah,
Which is
talking
the
about
last thing you want to do, Clay.
talking about using the controller, a big difference that I saw coming from Heat 3 to Heat 4 was in Heat 3, usually if you let off that stick, your car would go straight. Here it seems to go really straight when you let off that controller. So you almost have to drive your car out of the turn. Unlike Heat 3, you can just kind of, like a real actual street car, you could actually just let off that wheel and it would go straight. But in this game, man, I'm telling you, you got to set up probably 200-300 feet before the turn to what your car's going to do, especially somewhere like Texas or somewhere like Homestead, where you got a real slick track. You run about 5 to 10 laps depending on tire wear, and you're sliding out of control.
It looks like No Pit Pendle is right here with Blakey T and Wicked in that 42 car, guys. They are starting to not race each other, but race with each other. Be teammates that aren't teammates to work to the front. As we see the look, we got 3 cars going by 3 wide back there again. Sorry, guys. 37 of A Trout looks like he barely topped that wall. He changed his paint scheme. Dude, that's a cool paint scheme. Guys, people are trying so many different lines. I would really compare this to Kansas. I know banking is a little different and track surface is a little different, but I would personally try that super high line just like Kansas here. Clay, Robbie, what would you guys think?
I would like to say, yeah, I'll try the high line, but I've ran this track enough to know closer you get to that white line and can keep it there, the faster you're going to be.
You see, he's right where he sits there. The closer you hold it to that white line, the faster you're going to be. But if you want to be patient, you can ride the high line. They will take a fair few laps to start catching up to the boys when you've got better tyres. So
Yes,
if you're
sir.
patient, you can go ahead and do it. But
You see-
if not,
Now, Robbie, is it hard for you to maintain that white line, and is it hard for you to maintain that line driving from the right side of a stock car? Because you're the only right side driver approved for NASCAR, being from England.
is that
That's
a dig?
funny.
I'm not
That's
quite
funny.
sure.
That was funny. I tell you what, though, watch it here. Watch these guys go across this front stretch. We got every car on the track using the left apron going across the start-finish line here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them.
Yeah, back to what Pudding was saying. You know, that white line to me looks a lot further away than what it does to you boys.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, though. You get down there on that white line and you go a little bit too far left and you hit that thing, you're going to mess up yourself, the guys behind you, and the guys in front of you are going to get a gap on you, and that's something you don't want to do. So putting your car down there like RJ Smitty is right now, you know, he can hold that line there. We all know how easy it is, but you get down through the laps and you get your tire to where it's not as tight as it was before, it can be very difficult not to hit that apron and get a little off.
Not to
Oh,
cut
yeah,
you off
most
too much, T. Clay, but OG and NOCO are going
Yeah.
at it up here. NOCO's on that high side, OG's on that inside. We got Chevy power, we got Yoder power. Who's
We
going to
got
pull it
one
for?
loose.
Who's going to
Go ahead.
prevail?
Yeah, right now we're watching Noco's from the chase cam, watching him go in here and see if he can battle this guy for the lead.
You see, you
There
got
they
one
go.
loose and you got one tight.
We'll leave that
Oh,
joke for
NOCO
another
hits the
time as
wall.
NOCO gets into the wall.
I'm telling you what, that
That's
black
all right,
Monster Energy car sure does look good out on that racetrack.
Yeah, it does. Making me thirsty.
Yeah, Robbie, you should probably do need some energy drinks being over there. What time we got over there, Robbie? Let everybody know how much you really do enjoy this. How late is it where you're at?
25 to 2 in the
Wow.
morning.
Wow.
Yeah. But I don't mind. I'm sat here talking to you boys, watching some NASCAR racing.
Oh, we're
No, I
watching
don't
some
mind
good
at all.
racing. You know,
2 o'clock in the
racing
morning, that's
really is
early.
a lot better when you know the guys that are actually in the race. You've talked to them, you raced with them, you bumped with them. I mean, man, we've wrecked together. We've got frustrated with each other. These guys in this race, man, they all know each other. It's awesome to watch them because you know the person behind the car.
No, that's what I was trying to say earlier too, Clay. Is when Robbie first invited me into this because you and I were racing together, and Robbie and Kate Taddy invited me over to do my first broadcast, and I told you, hey, listen in and join, and I didn't know anybody, but then I know you, I know Robbie. I raced with RJ Smitty, I've raced with Boomhauer, I've raced with Kate Taddy, I've raced with 75% of these people, I've raced with Buck. The more you get to know them, it's so much more enjoyable to watch because of the camaraderie that they share amongst each other, but the camaraderie they share with the non-Giggity Racing League racers at the time. You know, it's awesome.
Here comes OG going into turn 3.
He's trying to take that
Right
Yoder to the
on
front.
Noco's rear end and that Monster Energy black Chevrolet. I'm telling you what, these guys are running these cars hard. Like Robbie said earlier, man, the guys that are going to be saving, they're not going to be running that low line going across the finish line there. We see almost more than half the field using that line to see if they can catch back up to these guys. They got a huge lead from third place. Huge.
We can't thank everybody out there watching us enough. Again, we had 2 Giggity Racing League participants announcing tonight in the broadcast booth, being Robbie Fitz and T. Clay. This is Puddin talking as one of your hopefully regular broadcasters. Guys, if you were interested in joining the GRL, the Giggity Racing League, please tell us how. How can they show their talents? How can they get involved?
They could just add one of us. I mean, I haven't got a problem. If you want to add me, I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Robbie,
Yeah, I mean,
They
If you're
work their
watching
way
the
up to
broadcast-
development leagues.
Look at the guys on the leaderboards on the top, man. Just write down one of their names, add them. Be like, hey, man, look, watch the YouTube channel. Would like to, race for you guys, and they'll probably get you over to one of the admins.
What's the procedure on how Giggity Racing League works, Clay?
As far as I know, it would be to contact, pretty much anybody in the league to, get your name in there, and they can contact
But you work
K
your way to
Taddy.
the cup level. You
But
start with the development
they've got the
league,
developmental
then you
league,
start
and then
truck,
you
go
got
to
the
Xfinity.
team captains, which correct me if I'm wrong, Robbie. I believe there's 6 team captains, and really the team captains is just because, like we said earlier, they've got almost 100.
We got cars spun around.
Go ahead, Trev.
Like we said,
Sorry, man.
they've got almost 100 drivers in here, so it's hard for K Taddy to manage all these guys, with questions and answers and setting up cars. And it also gives you a team of people to talk with and help. You're helping each other with setting up your cars and, getting your trucks and cars right for each track. But the way that I understand how the league works is you get in that developmental league, you run. If one of these captains runs with you or watches the race and sees you in there, he can assign you to these different leagues. You got the Xfinity League, the Truck League, the Cup League. There's also a Dirt League that runs a couple nights a week. So it's there's a lot for everybody.
The Dirt League is a upcoming league. They started with pavement, and they've started even with the Dirt League. Yeah, you start in the development league, and people who watch these, the captains watch these races. They watch you in dirt. They'll watch you in truck, and they will promote you. You and Robbie being an example. You started in truck and only had a couple races, and both got promoted. Warpig, another one of our friends, he got promoted quickly. We look forward to seeing Matthewson and Fat Patrick Ebaz moving on up through there.
Yeah, I see Math being a pretty high-ranked driver pretty quick. We've raced with him a lot, and he's fast. So
yeah, I'm about to kick him out of our
but-
Wednesday night little league just because he is so fast.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
just
get
kidding.
back to some racing here at Chicagoland after the restart there. We got Buck RCN. We saw him doing good towards the beginning of the race. He's all the way back to the rear right now. See if he can
K-Tad's
work his way
fighting
back
with
up
him.
through the field.
K-Taddy's looked good all night, too. He looked good at Michigan. He just had an unfortunate circumstance. Now, this track's one of those tracks that's not hard to pass at, but we would say difficult if there's cars in front of you. Robbie, what would be your game plan to set somebody up? It takes a lap or two to set them up to pass them. What would be your game plan to do that?
I don't know, really. I mean, it's sort of hard to come up with a game plan because each driver is different. So I just run behind him, watch him for a few laps, and see if he keeps slipping up at a certain point on every single lap. And that will be my point where I'll stick my nose in, get in half a car, and let him give me that inside.
Well, everybody wants that inside edge, sometimes diving down's not always the fastest way, sometimes staying up high's not always the fastest way. So, Clay, when you're racing people, do you sit back for a couple laps? Do you investigate on how they run to set up your game plan to pass them?
Nope. To be honest with you, I usually just run the race. I usually just go and see how it works out. I mean, I know where the lines are, so I try not to get out of the line. If it's the track the bottom line's the fastest, I usually try to stay in there. If they go high or something, I try to stick with nose in there, without hitting them or anything. See how close we can get and go with it. If they take the inside line, I usually don't try to. I usually don't try to pass on the outside.
Sorry, wicked hard into the wall. I did not mean to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good, man. We're here for the race, so I've seen that too. Let's see if the caution comes out here. Talking about RJ and Trout. Earlier, a few laps back, we saw that RJ actually had the lead again. He was the winner of the Michigan race. He hasn't been doing real good here tonight until there we saw him get the lead, and then Trout give him a little knock to get the lead back. So I think we're seeing a lot of the same guys that we saw at Michigan out front this race. But like we know, that does not mean that they will win the race. As we saw in the last race, anything can happen. Just like right there, Trout hits number 19, spins him around the apron, and there's going to be a big wreck on the backfield coming out of turn 4.
On the outside, car's upside down, tires in the grass.
Man, that's exactly what we were just talking about. Anything can happen as it happens right in front of us from the rear view angle of the A Trout 6 car.
Robbie, Clay, what are your personal opinions on this strict caution compared to game caution rule? I mean, we brought that up earlier at the Michigan race, but for the people who weren't listening back then, we brought up the word happy median. What are you guys thinking?
I think that was a good call to caution there, man. That was a big wreck. I think there's some improvements to do. Like you said earlier, man, they've improved a lot. I know it's easy for us to all sit at home and be like, hey, man, they should do this, and this. And the next game comes out and it's not there. And you're like, man, what are they doing? Well, I mean, these games have got a lot of detail in them. So, you know, I'm happy with what we got now. You know, as long as we got a game we can play and we can race, and especially with it like this where we can actually race and not have to worry about getting ping pong, hey, man, I'm good with it.
Look at California. Look at Atlanta. The car, your suspension adjustments really make a difference there. You see the cars fluctuate down the bumps and stuff where they didn't used to, and you know, I agree. It's easy for us to criticize, but they have done a great job. As we see another 4-car lead battle for the lead, and that appears to be the 88 of Blakey T up front where he likes to be, but. Is anything going to happen? What we got going on? Oh, RJ Smitty right there in the 24. We got Chuckmate Taylor and Buck in that 62. Robbie, so you've raced with these guys before. What would you do if you're up front with these guys?
I'll just try my best to hold my line. I mean, running up front with these guys can be quite intimidating because I'm an Xfinity driver. These guys are Cup drivers for a reason. Even though you do see, you know, them having cautions, accidents will happen no matter what series you're in. But it can be quite nerve-wracking running up front and having a whole bunch of guys behind you wanting your position.
That's for sure. That is for sure. Yeah, and going back to criticizing, like you were saying, Puddin', I mean, sometimes we're like, man, why ain't the game doing this? Why ain't the game doing that? And then you think about, like, all right, you go make a game that you can control your tire pressures, your tire wear, cautions, and all this come out. There's a lot of in-depth data that has to go into this game for these games to work properly. And for them to work consistently like they do, I mean, we have a little bit of lag problems here and there, but, I mean, it's nothing compared to what it used to be.
Oh, sorry, Buck's pushing right there with 88 pushing, Blakey T pushing on the inside of Buck. Buck pushed that 37 of Zero right there on the inside. We got Chuckmate Taylor, that 9 coming on the outside. 3 cars got loose. I did not mean to interrupt you guys, but the racing is definitely getting intense, man. That means the stage is probably coming to an end, but these guys are definitely putting that tall, skinny pedal to the floorboard right now.
Talking of the stage coming to the end, I'd just like to let everybody know stage 1 is over, and we're now in stage 2. So the top 10 for the stage 1 is, in first we have A Trout, in second we have RJ Smitty, in third we have Blakey T, so one of the hot seat drivers that actually got into the top 3. In fourth we have Checkmate Taylor, in fifth we have Buck Racing, in sixth we have Wadworth, in seventh we have K Taddy, in eighth we have Boomhauer, and ninth we have Lysa Plant, and in 10th we have Spank Racer.
Yeah, right now we're on lap 7 of 30, I believe 39 out of the stage 2.
Once again, Buck's up there, got that fresh, clean air. He's separated himself. He's not the mid-pack, but he's not in the front pack. He's by himself. He's in his own pack. We'll see if he can single-handedly get himself up to that front pack to get back to the lead again, because he's been running good tonight, guys.
Yeah, man, we've had some good racing going on here. These guys are battling back and forth. You know, I was looking at everybody earlier. I was cycling through. I haven't seen anybody that's really got a whole lot more speed than anybody else. These guys look like their cars are really set up very similar for this little bit of long run we have going into the stage 2. I mean, this is a tight group coming into the lead right here, especially almost 10 laps in after the stage.
Yeah, RJ Smitty in first place here, coming out of turn 2. He's looking nice and smooth. He's not looking loose at all. And he's definitely holding that first place position really well.
Yeah, I like that new paint scheme he went and put on in that 24 car. It looks real good out there.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Takes it back. Almost looks like the old Jeff Gordon driving that thing. He's going so fast right now.
Well, I won't go that far. You can see behind him, he's got the 37 car peeking on the inside. RJ Smith has left a little bit of a gap there, and he's not going to get it. So it looks like he's going to try and set him up for turn 3 and 4. Let's see if we can get him.
Talking about paint schemes, guys, I'm telling you, yes, I am biased. Yes, I did serve in the United States Air Force, but sometimes when D. Smith in that 43 car runs that throwback P-52 Mustang, paint scheme with that big old growling face on the front, that's one of my favorites. Obviously, my second favorite would probably have to go to the 24 of the Jeff Gordon throwback. And then right now, my third favorite paint scheme is what the number 9 car is running of the Hooters car, but it's got that Hooters seafood scheme going to it with the white and turquoise on it instead of the white and orange. There's so many cool things you can do.
Yeah,
hey, Puddin', let me ask you a question, buddy.
Have to be the new paint scheme for you because unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately, I'll say fortunately for me, D. Smith has been dropped down to the Xfinity series. So yeah, the 24 and the 9 are looking to be your new favourite paint schemes for the Cup Series with Giggity Racing League.
Go for Puddin', Clay.
Man, so we're at Chicagoland now. We know this is the last points race coming into the All-Star Week. Are you excited about the All-Star Week with the Giggity Racing League? How about you, Robbie?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
I was talking to K Teddy earlier.
I'm not excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm going to I don't need a refrigerator. I'm going to put a cooler next to my couch. So when I hopefully get to broadcast these races, I'm not missing anything. All week, the qualifying races that's going to take to get there, everybody's invited. If you have to win a race to get in, if you haven't won a race, I'm excited to watch everything this week. This next week,
man.
That's better than anything.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Hopefully I can get on the broadcast team or either try to get in one of those qualifying races and get in the race. I hope to be part of it somehow, shape, or form, but man, I am looking forward to it.
I might be racing because I've actually won a race, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I actually might be racing in the All-Star race.
That would be awesome.
It should be good then if you want to race, though, right, Robbie?
Yeah, definitely.
Which race did you win?
Not only to commentate with Robbie, but to be able to broadcast Robbie on the track, that would be awesome. And I'm not being biased. I love all of you guys out there. I love broadcasting all of you guys. I love watching all of you guys. And I've got to know quite a few of you guys. That's what makes it more exciting. The best of the best of the best from the best online racing league. You can't get anything better, Robbie and Clay. You can't.
Yeah, that's right. Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, man. Oh, I don't know. I'm good, man. I'm having a heck of a time broadcasting y'all. I'm just looking forward to the All-Star Week. I think it's going to be a good time. Give some of these drivers that have, really been practicing a lot for, these days where they got 2 races going on and then, turn around 2 days later and they got 2 more races with completely 2 different setups from these customs to presets. Give them a little bit of a break, It's the All-Star race. Yeah, if you're in it, let's get it. Let's go. But, these guys that maybe haven't won a race or are having trouble, getting their car set up and having some troubles, they can take a little break, relax, watch some racing, and get a little break in before we go into the second half of the season.
Blakey T makes a smooth pass on Wicked going on the inside of that D-shape right behind Buck. Sorry to cut you off there, Robbie, but Blakey T's on a move right now.
Yeah, I think he was just about to ask me how about if he won a race, and I think I actually won the season opener at Daytona in the Xfinity Series.
Heck yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's a hard race to win. People think it's easy to win at a race like that, and it's far
That's a
from.
long race.
Congratulations to you for winning that race.
Watching live here from Blakey T, we'll see what he's got for these boys right here as he comes on into turn 1 above NoCo.
He's got Noko, Wicked, and Buck going 3 wide. Blakey T and Wicked right there in that 42 make a little bit of contact. No harm, no foul. They're going down the back straight, second right in behind Buck. Let's see what they seem to do going in the corner, Clay.
Man, I'm going to tell you what, this is got good racing going on right now. We got a lot of guys that keep going, getting shuffled around right here in the middle of this pack.
Robbie, I think, in my opinion, this is one of the most competitive tracks you can be. It's not a big, if you get strung out like Michigan, you're hung out till the next stage. What do you think? This is a great competitive track where you can be with people at all times.
What do I think? I think right about now, you know, I'll be having a bit of sweat on my eyebrow because running with these boys in the Cup Series, it could be hard. I mean, look at No Pit Pendle. You know, he's one of the top drivers in the Xfinity Series, and I think he's currently sitting mid-grid. So it just goes to show how sometimes it can be really tough to run with the big boys.
Yeah, man, also, I think that these long league, or long, not even just league races, but long races, I think that's where you really see these drivers improve their skills. I mean, you're running around the same guys for 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 laps at a time with no cautions. I mean, this is where you get your skill. This is where you realize, you know, I can't just come in there and set my car up loose and run a fast car every lap. You got to sit back and wait. A lot of times you're waiting on those guys in front of you just to mess up, get a little loose, tires go down, boom, you got them.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Clay, but yeah, Buck and Wicked made some green flag pit stop. But and that's another thing. You race with these guys for these long races. One word comes to mind: trust and confidence. Actually, 2 words actually. But you can trust yourself to race around them, and you have confidence in them.
Man, I'll tell you what, we had a good lobby going earlier, man. That was fun. We had a bunch of Giggity League racers in there running a lobby. Everybody was in a good mood. Everybody was having a fun time. I believe we had about 25 drivers from the league in there. I'm telling you what, it was a blast.
Looks like we got more green flag pit stops being made too. Yeah, I was fortunately to participate in that, and just to hear those guys too, because while we broadcast, we can't hear them. So to be able to listen to their commentary and their banter back and forth as 37 comes down to for a green flag pit stop, it's awesome to hear how they can banter back and forth and jab at each other, but at the end of the day still say, hey, do you need help? I got you.
Man, I'm telling you what, I'm sitting here watching the pit cam from the NASCAR Heat broadcast right now, and it's cool to see the number 9 of Checkmate sitting in the pits. You got the camera going, the cars on the outside are actually live feed of what's going on, and you can barely see them on the top of the rim of the racetrack. That right there is good graphics.
The Blakey T is definitely trying to prove himself. He is racing Noko one-on-one. No cars in front of him, no cars behind him. He is trying to prove himself. He's trying to say, hey, Noko, you're one of the best. I'm trying to show you what I got.
Yeah, I'm watching them live right now from the front view of their cars. Blakey T's hanging right there with him, giving him a little bump there. And some good racing going on.
Yeah,
here comes Blakey T to the inside. Let's see what he's got going on right here. Noko pushes him down on the bottom, says, hey, man, I need to get down there on that apron, too. I know that's a fast line. Yep,
Robbie,
Noko.
are you watching this one?
Oh, man, this is a great battle right here.
Yeah, it's really, really good racing.
Here comes Blakey on the inside. Blakey gets about a car length in front of him. See if he can hold him off before Noko gets that fast run on that outside going down the backstretch here at Chicagoland for the Giggity Racing League 200.
You got the GRL veteran and a GRL Cup rookie just
battling it out.
This was great.
Man, I'll tell you what, this right here is what the admins of this league want to see, man. They want to see these new drivers come in here and be able to compete against these veteran drivers like Noko, man. I'm telling you, this guy's fast. He's seen it all over and over again. He's been up in the front. He's run towards the top of the points. Let's see right here what Blakey can do with this guy.
Unless we give him the broadcaster's curse, Noko can go back and tell everybody that he raced how many laps competitively and cleanly with Blakey. You know, that exactly. You just called it. This is what they want to see. And this is what we talked about in pre-race. Blakey being a hot seat driver, saying, hey, I want to prove myself. Will you prove yourself? He's doing it right now against...
Oh, yeah, Blakey gets into the rear end of Noko right there. Not sure if that's going to cause some damage on his car. Hopefully not. But we'll see as this battle continues.
How would you feel if you were Blakey T right now, Robbie?
Right now, Blakey's taking a different line. Do you see this? Is he trying to save tires? What's he doing? As Noko gets into the wall.
Well, look at that momentum that he had, though. Look at that run that Blakey T had. You know,
Man, I'm telling you what, this is one of the best battles we've seen all day.
Cut down to cut time, but then it caused friction and a little bit longer track to pull up, where Blakey T held that longer line and kept that run going. That's we see him making the inside of Noko right now.
Oh, Noko's going to the pits. That's going to break them two up. Let's see right here who can get out first. Can Noko get out of this pit stop and get in front of Blakey, or can Blakey got the advantage by staying out an extra lap? What do you think, Puddin', as we go into this pit stop with Noko RCN running the #1 Monster Energy car?
Yeah, I think Puddin's away from his mic just for 1 second. But
What do you think, Robbie?
I think that Blakey's going to leave it, maybe 2-3 more laps if he can. The reason for doing that will be to have fresher tyres at the end of the race.
I tell you what, will you switch over to Blakey and watch him, and I'll keep my eye on Noko. Let's see where Blakey's at when Noko's coming out. As Noko's out of his pit stall now, he's coming back on the racetrack, and we got 3 cars going past him right now as he's coming back on the track. Where's Blakey at?
Blakey's actually just coming into turn 3 now. Sort of 3 and 4, now he's coming into 4. And is he going to pit? Nope, he's going to go another lap. So he's definitely looking at fresher tyres for the end of the race.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Blakey T's trying to pull that time out, trying to put as many cars on a lap down as he can, or pull that gap, though, guys.
I'll tell you right now, Noko had a fast pit stop for Blakey to only be in turn 3 by the time he was coming out.
Right, with those fresh tires, though, that's a good idea, Robbie. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
He might have just took right sides only and just the fuel that he needed, and then off he went.
Yeah. Oh, Noko slams into the back of RJ.
Blakey T coming into the pits now. So he actually left it 3-4 more laps before he actually took his pit stop.
3 or 4 lap tire wear. We know how that can pan out.
Yep.
Looks like RJ's got a lot of damage. Y'all seeing that as well? His hood is really messed up.
I'm following one of our other GRL broadcasters when he's not on the racetrack, Mills, right now in that #2 car. He's looking smooth and he's looking fine as I click back to try to find that. But it's good to see Mills back out on the track. He's a great guy to talk to in the booth, but it's better to see him out on the track where he belongs and where he likes to be.
With you just saying that, Puddin', I can actually just confirm. I sat here with a stopwatch on my phone, and I was watching Blakey T, and by the looks of it, Blakey T has took what fuel he needed and right sides only with an 8-second pit stop.
Wow, now that's fast. Will that going to benefit him in the long run, though?
We will see.
Well, where you watching Blakey T right now, Robbie?
Yeah.
All right, so Noko is actually on the backstretch, entering turn 3 right now. Where is Blakey at?
Blakey's just coming out of turn 4, so it looks like that Noko will catch him, but I don't know if it's going to be enough, because has Noko got the draft?
How many laps are left?
He does. He has 1 car in front of him, but I believe he's faster than the vehicle that's in front of him. I think he's going to pass him with ease right here.
Right,
yeah, as
okay,
he goes underneath the number 47.
Boomhauer, he switched over from the M&Ms to the Skittles car for this race, and it looked like Woodworth switched over too. Good to see, like I said, it's great to see Boomhauer back out here. He had to take a small sabbatical from racing. This is something he's talked to. I broadcast with him last week with T. Clay. We raced with him quite a bit. He couldn't wait to get back in, guys. It's great to see Boomhauer doing back what he likes to do.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, Puddin', man. I like racing with Boomhauers, man. He's got good character, man. He's a funny dude, and he really cracks me up when he gets going, man. He gets pretty aggressive with these drivers, not in terms of actually racing with them, but man, he gets the lobbies fired up. He runs a heck of a lobby for just a practice event.
I was excited to be in his lobby, and it was super clean too. If anybody tried any BS, well, they got the broom. He's got the biggest mop out there. He knows how to clean out the lobby.
Yeah, he sure does, man. I'm telling you.
Instead of Boomhauer, we need to call him Broomhauer from now on.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you what, I don't know if I've seen a room ran as good as I saw the one earlier today. That was awesome racing. We had good, clean drivers. We were in a public lobby. And, man, I'm telling you what, he wasn't putting up with it. If you weren't good or you weren't racing everybody right, you could say bye.
Nah.
Na 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 na.
No.
Boom Howard.
Goodbye.
Well,
Sorry,
anyway,
gentlemen,
back
for
to the
everybody.
racing here, boys.
Yeah, I was just
Let's
gonna say,
not forget
anybody
some
who's listening,
interesting
sorry for
racing.
that 5-second delay from England to Washington D.C.
Yeah.
No, I would say the 5-second delay from, on the other end. You guys are always behind.
I tell you what, Noco's really catching up to him right here, boys. He's pulling in close.
I love that Robbie and T. Clay had such a great lobby tonight with Giggity Racing. It's great to broadcast to my buddies, and it's even better to watch this great racing with them. Blakey T's out there holding his own now.
Talking of great racing, Noco takes the inside of Buck, the 62 here, coming into turn 3 and 4, is it? And we've also got a couple of other drivers there looking to get that position.
They have so much respect for each other. I listened to them race in the same lobby with Buck and Noco earlier, just listening to them communicate with each other. They have so much respect for each other, but they are so competitive. They don't want to give each other, not an inch, but they don't want to give them that blonde hair. They don't want to give them any mile.
So, T. Clay, if you could just tell us who you're watching over here on the live broadcast.
Yeah, right now I'm watching Buck RCN from the chase view.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I'm over here watching Blakey T just maintaining him, but we'll click back. There's Mills again in that cool number-looking Mustang number 2. Great to see Mills back on the track. Chuckmate Taylor in that number 9. He's always a threat to be reckoned with. I like his paint scheme tonight.
Looks like we're on the last lap right here, guys. This final stage, or this second stage.
Wow, that's gone fast.
That's what happens when you have competitive drivers and no cautions. That's what the Giggity Racing League gives you guys. That's what the opportunities you get out there.
Yep, that's going to be the last lap as you see Buck's car slow down right here.
So it looks between Blakey T and Noco. Noco did not manage to close the gap, but he was gaining. Do you know who else had a quiet night tonight? Mills.
Mills is one of those silent
quiet.
but deadlies. He's a silent but deadly driver.
Yeah, I don't think I've met him yet. I look forward to racing with him sometime.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I enjoyed being in the broadcast booth with him, but it's like I said earlier, it's great to be able to broadcast his races. He sometimes his work schedule prohibits him from getting into the races at certain times, and he has no hesitation to come in and support his fellow Giggity Racing League drivers by broadcasting.
Looks like right now, hate to interrupt you, but it looks like Blakey T won the stage. With Noco coming in second, Buck, Trout, Wicked Gatekeeper, No Pit, Spank Racer, K-Mac, RJ Smithy, and Woodruff holding out the number 10 spot. So right now, Blakey's in the lead.
I was just going to say, does that have something to say for Blakey T for his strategy? Does he have something to pull out? We know we're going to have to do green flag cautions green flag pit stops if there is no caution, which we haven't seen very many of in this race. Do you think Blakey T has what it takes to hold through this there, Robbie?
I don't know, it's hard to tell. I'm hoping that he's going to play a patient game and we can see some interesting racing in stage 3.
But he also has that notorious number 1 behind him.
That could be intimidating, let me tell you that.
Then you have Buck, you have Trout, you have Wicked, you have so many talented drivers. And guess what, guys? We just went green flag, so that means they're all on his rear bumper. Drive out that windshield, Blakey T. Drive out that windshield. Don't drive out that mirror, buddy.
Talking about Blakey T, man, even if he doesn't win this race, I think he's proved a point. He can run with these guys.
Ooh, that's a tight 3 wide there coming into turn 1 and 2.
3 wide. They almost put it 4 wide. I didn't know that was possible, and they still pull it off. Oh, Wicked Gatekeeper gets into somebody coming off, but it was barely an accident as they come into turn 3. But it's no surprise. We see that number 1 up front. We see that 62 buck up front. It's no surprise to see those guys there. We got no Pendle back there. He's working his way on the inside of Wicked Gatekeeper and OG. Guys, this race could be anybody's race. If you want to put money down, go to Vegas and put $5 on everybody. You're guaranteed to lose money but win something.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, as the racing's going on, I mean, T. Clay, I've got to ask you, right? You've been with Giggity for about a week. You was picked up by RJ Smitty, that's correct?
Yes, that is correct, Robbie.
So, watching these boys now, I mean, as the race has gone on, the race has got more intense, especially here at Chicagoland. As it's gone on and on and on through the stages, you've gone quieter and quieter, and you've been watching this racing real closely. I can tell because you're not talking as much, which we don't mind here in the beat, because it just goes to show that you're watching the racing, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing. And I look forward to racing with you in the Xfinity Series to see what you picked up.
Yeah, I am. I'm actually watching this race very closely. Another thing I'm doing is I'm trying to give the viewers at home the best view they can, man. I keep rotating through these guys' views, and I think the best view to have is when you're watching the front of the field from about 5th to 6th position back. It really gives you a good aspect of what's going on the racetrack in front.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely, I agree with that, because you can also sort of see, you know, 1st and 2nd and 3rd going from the 5th position when they're all held tightly.
Yeah, I like the view from like the camera angle where it looks like they're actually filming the race. But I'm telling you, man, you get it. Like right now, I'm watching Wicked Gatekeeper, which he's got 3 cars way out in front of him. He's in a tight knit group right here in probably 6th position. And man, I'm telling you what, it's a big difference of watching them on the racetrack versus watching them just go around the track over and over again.
It's amazing, isn't it?
I'm with Trout in that 37 car. Sorry, Robbie, but he is in 2nd. He is pushing Buck, but he's got
right now Wicked Gatekeeper gets into the wall. He's going to spin out here. It looks like. Hope he doesn't get anybody else. Looks like he's going to keep a green flag going here.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Puddin'.
Oh no, I was just watching Trout. He had Buck in front of him and Noko in the rear. If you were to pull out a song, you'd be like, "Here I am, stuck in the middle of talent."
Another thing I would like to mention is for these viewers that don't have NASCAR Heat 4, that haven't tried it out, or you tried it out and you don't feel like you're that strong of a driver, if commentating is something that you think you might enjoy, because when I first got this game, I didn't think about commentating. I didn't really know that they did this. But after getting into the Giggity League, this is really another hobby right here. Just sitting there in the booth, watching the races, talking about it, talking to your friends. If it's something you would like to try out, you know, you don't have to come in here and get on an actual commentate for a race league. You could jump into one of these lobbies we do for these big practices, man. You can broadcast it on your own stream. You can get in there and get some practice.
You could be like Spank. He jumped in a lobby tonight. He jumped in a lobby, and he ended up bypassing the truck in the Xfinity League. Does that happen very often in Giggity Racing? We can't say it does. Is he a rare example? Yes. But if you come race in a lobby and some of these captains see you, they say, "Hey man, come drive a truck for me." And who's to say, a couple weeks later, you're in Xfinity. You know, 6-8 weeks later, you just say you may or may not be in a cup. We don't know. But if you think you have what it takes, what do you got to lose driving a truck? Come on.
Yeah, man, I think it was a good move putting Spanky in that cup car. He seems to be holding his own pretty well.
Now, both of you guys, oh, it looks like we got a car spinning out. It looks like he hit the apron. It's that 21 car going down to the inside. Is that going to bring out the yellow flag?
Yeah, that's a 4-car wreck there. That should definitely be a caution. And going back to what we were saying about the cautions earlier, you know, I reckon there should be a slider for these cautions because relax is too relaxed for me. And I thought they took the mickey when they brought out a new caution rule. You just tap that wall and it just brings out the caution. In my opinion, it's pathetic. I mean, I think they took the mickey just a bit.
Yeah, right now we've got 42 laps remaining.
Your opinion because you sit on the wrong side of the car, Robbie.
Yeah, right now it's got 42 laps remaining. If they go a full can of gas here, one can of gas, I believe it's going to put them about 31 laps.
Why would you take one can if you're getting 4 tires? You want to get everything you can at every opportunity. That's just my personal opinion. That's something I do. 4 freshies and a full tank. Anytime I can, take some tape off, put some wedge in, vice versa. You want to make those adjustments. And if a caution does come out, these drivers know how to go back and adjust their car from a long run car to a short run car.
You see, that's what's interesting, you know, because every driver's different.
Here's my thing though. Say you're sitting mid-pack or a little bit farther than mid-pack up, and you know you can't make it on that full 2 cans. Do you just take enough to where you can get to your next pit stop to keep that position?
I just got a message from one of the administrators. We got 43 to go.
That's right.
And at 30-something seconds a lap, that's, let's call it 2 laps. I mean, you can do 2 laps of every minute. So, boys, your time is running thin here. You want to get up front and get up front when you can. I mean, Robbie, Clay, I've raced with you guys. You guys are some of the most professional clean racers. But I have seen how, at the same time, you guys can press that issue. You guys can drive it in hard. You guys will ride that high line. Do you take a chance at burning your car up early to get up front? Or do you hold it back, but still at the same time maintain, as we see Blakey T threaded needle right there on Buck, to try to hold back enough car and tire to make it to the finish and be competitive? What would you guys do?
Robbie, right now I'm watching No Pit Pendle. Like you said earlier, this guy's fast. He's back up here. Looks to be like in the 2nd position now, going out of turn 4. I think he might have something for these guys.
Yeah, as long as he can hold them other guys off. I mean,
Got a guy through the infield right now, sideways.
There they go.
Was that Blakey T?
That was Blakey T or RJ. I couldn't tell.
I was just going to say it was one of those two, yeah. And I'm watching RJ. RJ's in 2nd. That was Blakey T. Once again, his frustrations must be running so high. Every chance he's gotten in Giggity Racing League, in Cup, in Xfinity, in Truck, he's always ran up front, and he always seems to step in that pile of maneuver in the wrong time. Blakey T is a great driver. He's proved himself. I just don't think he's been in the right spot at the right time, guys.
Guys, look at that pack. 6th position, 5th and 6th position, and onwards. Nice tight pack there with some really close racing.
That's right. Right now I'm watching
They're trying to
KMac
work
underscore
together.
19 in the 21 yellow Menards car. He's right behind that big pack you talk about going out in the middle of turn 3 and 4. Let's see what he's got for these guys, and let's see if these guys in front of him can keep some clean racing going on with just a few laps to go.
I think, like Robbie said, those guys back there, they are a couple cars wide where they have to be, but I think they're trying to suck in and create that streamline of 6, 7, 8 cars to pull back up to the front 4, guys.
Yeah, putting right there, I was actually watching KMac. They were 4 wide going through turn 1 and 2.
I'm just going to let you guys know, I am a biased person, and you two are some of my good friends, but when you guys are on the track and I'm broadcasting, I want to see what you guys got, you know? I want to see you guys put it all down, and I won't be afraid to say if somebody's faster than you. In this case, who do you think is faster than somebody else when even though they're in front of someone?
Oh,
Right
I'm
now-
definitely faster than T. Clay. Bring it on next week.
Well, I would
Oh,
say
it's
that
on.
I would say that you were wrong after in that race we were racing earlier. I was pretty far ahead of you about every race.
I think I
Yeah.
beat Robbie at Indianapolis this afternoon, so that doesn't have anything to say about anything.
Yeah,
No
I think
pit-
I'm having a bad spell.
I think
Good things,
I
Robbie.
think I
As we
don't think
watch
it's
No
that,
Pit
Robbie.
Pendle in
I think you
fourth,
set your car up. I think you're better at the longer races. You definitely set your car up for the long run almost every race.
RJ Smitty gets in the back of no coach. It was unintentional. unintentional, but they barely touch. RJ Smitty gets spun around. I'm following No Pit Pendle, who was right there with them. That was an unfortunate circumstance for RJ Smitty. It was, oh, Lord have mercy. He went to dive it down.
That was RJ Smitty there.
I was watching Life's Plant, and I got it all. But right now, guys, we've got 30 laps to go in this race.
31 to go. Kate Daddy just sent me a message. 31 to go. That is right. You are correct. 4 freshies. Make your adjustments. 30 laps. Would you consider that a short run or a long run, guys?
I would say it's about medium.
Right, but I didn't say medium, did I, Clay? So where would you set your car up? Now I'm getting a little snotty with you.
I think you're going. I think I'm going loose, man. I think you go all out right here. Let's see if you can create a gap, man. If you can create a gap, you can kind of sit back and relax. But if you're in the back, man, you got to set up fast. But if you're in the front, I'm not sure what these guys are doing. There's a lot of guys on the racetrack.
You go fast. If you're in the front, you protect, huh?
That's right.
So you have 16 drivers setting up for how many different positions? Let's see how this plans out, Robbie. What would you do?
Me, I would keep the car the same, and now I would race my race. Now would be my time to push.
The main factor is they're all good on fuel and they're good on tires. So right now it's a battle, almost like it's a sprint. It's a long sprint right here.
How aggressive do you get without being what, as we affirmatively call in a public lobby, a wrecker? But how aggressive do you get to move people out of the way without dumping them?
I don't get aggressive at all, and I think that might be my problem. I don't really do much of a bump and run, so that's definitely something I've got to work on, is my aggression level and how much I can do, because I'm a careful driver and I'm patient, which is why I think that I get caught up in wrecks, or I bump somebody by accident, because I get a little bit nervous.
Now, talking about that, Robbie, right here I'm watching Buck RCN battle as he goes on the low line and takes about 3 to 4 positions away right here. Now, what I think may become a factor here is not necessarily racing aggressive, but taking away some of these lines from these other drivers where they can't get that good line, which may give that guy out front. He may pull away right here.
We got Noko up front, guys, and Noko is enjoying that clean, fresh air, and it doesn't matter who you are. You do not want to give Noko that opportunity.
Yeah, like right here now, I'm watching Buck. Buck's in second position here, coming in with just a little bit less than 30 laps to go, and he's taking that low line around the track every time he gets the chance to, and these guys behind him look like they're actually pulling on him. They're gaining some speed, but he's blocking that low line, so when they get that run, they're having to slow up and go above him, which is going to keep them from getting to that front position car.
I just want to revert back to something. Oh, as we get a car mowing through the grass on the inside, but we're going. What Robbie said earlier about patience and virtue, T. Clay, you can vouch for this. How many times we've heard Robbie say, hashtag Robbie has no brakes? What, do you think that would be an issue? Do you think that would be into play to try to win one of these races?
I mean, not necessarily the brakes, but definitely the not getting off your acceleration points as far as back as you would in the earlier stages of the race. I think some of these guys, you may see them drive it in deeper, wear out those tires, but it could play a factor where it could hurt them as well, driving that car in deeper.
When it comes to lobby bids, I think we'll find out in his future races.
We've got a large pack going at it right here. I don't know if y'all are watching this or not, but this is a big pack of cars back here fighting for the about fourth back, man. These guys are close-knit group, and they are really going at it. This is some good racing we got going on here at Chicagoland for the Giggity Racing League 200.
Here we go, the hot seat driver. Never driven in GRL, truck, or Xfinity, Spank Racer in the 31. He's running in third behind one of the Cup drivers for GRL's best of Buck. He's sitting right behind him. I'm following behind him. He's just maintaining his line, staying in his draft, not pushing his limit. Here we go. This is the hot seat driver. This is his opportunity. Watching Giggity Racing League for the last 4 to 5 weeks now, I think Spanks had the greatest gold bar handed to him by just saying, come drive a cup car, which very rarely happens, and he's going to take advantage of this, guys. He's right behind Buck in third.
I've got 2 questions for you, Robbie and Puddin'. Do you think NOCO has what it takes to hold this lead out? And with these guys racing as tight as they are, do you think another caution is going to come out before this race ends?
Without a doubt,
Yes.
and without a doubt. That's all I have to say, Robbie.
Yep. Yes to both.
That's what I'm thinking. NOCO's got a good lead right now, but the guys behind him do have the draft as they come down the backstretch going into turn 3.
I was just going to say that right there. You got I'm following Spank. He's right behind Buck. Buck is right behind NOCO. They're staying in that draft. So you got a rookie, a veteran, following a veteran, and they're pulling right back up onto him. They pulled a 10-car lead down to at least 1 car lead. So they cut 9 cars off in that lead, and I think NOCO's got something to be worried about here, guys.
Let's go to everybody switch over to Spank Racers Chase Car Cam here and watch this race lead. Let's see what they got going on, what lines they're taking. Let's talk about it, and let's see what we predict coming in these next few laps.
That's how I've been calling for the last couple of laps, is right behind Spank Racer, and I agree with you. We do not want to deny the fact of the great racing behind us, but this is a 3-car battle for the lead, Robbie. That was a great call on Clay's part to bring us into this. Look at this. Spank's pulling right behind Buck. Buck's right behind NOCO. They're maintaining. You still have plenty of time. Don't duck out yet. What would you do, Robbie? Maintain and hold, or would you try to get that position?
Quick note, we're on lap 120 out of 134, so just about 14 laps to go here as we have a tight battle going here with Spank.
Oh, Spank Racer's diving it. There he goes.
I think this is more of that aggressive racing you were talking about we might be seeing here, Puddin', as we see Spank Racer put his nose in there and take away that second position.
If you were NOCO, being the veteran, competitive, victorious driver that you are, having a no-name...
Here comes Blakey T, guys. Hate to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Here comes Blakey T in the 4th position, putting his nose in there, right behind the 2nd and 3rd cars. I think he's got enough draft, and it looks like he might have a little bit of better car coming in here with just a few laps to go.
Yeah, he's come out of nowhere.
He's going to the high side now to see if he drops it down low to the apron here.
NOCO?
Yeah.
He does. Cuts to the inside. Blakey T passes both of them.
Oh, Blakey T! With a hell of a move from Blakey T to 2nd place! You got 2 hot seat drivers. No offense to NOCO. I was just going to ask you guys, would you be worried? That question just changed to would you?
I tell you what, I'll be worried about. I'd be worried. We got 2 hot seat drivers in here. One's already got the car, but we got 2 brand new Cup racers in here, out here in the top 5.
This is unbelievable. We have great racing with. We've got veterans. We've got rookies. What else could you ask for at a track? Multiple lines, multiple entries. This isn't a 1-lane track. We got Blakey T coming after NOCO, and they proved earlier. They went 10 laps before green flag pit Saturday that these 2 can't race together cleanly. Do you think Blakey T might give him the bumper, or do you give him that courtesy that you showed him earlier? Because here comes Blakey. Robbie, what would you do if you were Blakey T as a hot seat driver?
Me, I would continue to push forward, but I'd also keep checking my mirror. I mean, you have to be careful if you need to hit
You
the marks.
can't drive out your mirror, though. That's where you make mistakes,
Yeah.
in my opinion, though. That's my opinion, though. Sorry,
You
Robbie.
could do it on the back stretch, just keep an eye on your mirror, see what the guy behind you's doing, and make sure you're getting a draft. Because 2 cars go faster than 1, as we know.
Yeah,
T
Robbie
Clay.
and Puddin', as you take a look at the lineup right here, Blakey T has created a gap between 2nd and 3rd, along with a huge gap between 2nd and 4th, as Blakey T dives to the inside on NOCO, coming out of turn 2. What has he got for him right here? What do you think is going to happen here with just a few laps to go?
He's making a move.
I think Blakey's got a fast car.
I reckon they're gonna
Blakey. It's bronze tax and bronze air medals now, boys.
Looks to be about 9 laps to go here with number 88, Blakey T, fighting the Monster Energy car of the number 1 NOCO for the race win here at Chicagoland for the Giggity Racing League 200 tonight. NOCO gets a little high coming out of turn 2.
Here we go, Blakey
T takes the lead.
Blakey T to the lead in that 88 Exalta Chevrolet. But this is something that he does not want to see is NOCO behind him, even though he just passed him. NOCO's the veteran, Blakey T being the rookie. Blakey T having a very not good, not run of good luck while he's been leading races in the Giggity Racing League. Does he have the patience? Does he have the cold steel to hold off?
This comes back to what we were talking about earlier. Does Blakey T keep that? I would keep that car as close to that white line as I could without losing as much speed as I could coming in there, because NOCO dives in and gives him a little bump. Here comes a bump.
Here I go. I'm watching Blakey T overhead now. I'm watching the Blakey T overhead now, just so I can watch this. And not only did NOCO give him a bump and run, but he pulled 3 cars on him. Again, I'm following Blakey T overhead. But here we go, going back into turn 1. Blakey T pulling right back up on him. He's up in that second line.
Let me ask you this, Puddin'.
Back up against that wall. Blakey T coming back down there. He's in the draft, pulling back on the inside.
Here comes Blakey T, side by side with NOCO. And look at this. The 3rd and 4th place cars are back up in there along with the race leaders.
I'm sorry to cut you guys off. I'm just, like I said, following overhead now. I'm doing the overhead view. Now 37, that puts NOCO back to 3rd. A very 4th, that's a very unfamiliar position as we got Buck up there in 3rd now. Go ahead, Clay. I'm sorry. This is just
you're good, man. We're
man.
commentating this race, and it's getting really, really close. This is very intense. This right here is what you want to see when you're watching a race. Look at this, 5 cars for the lead. You think their tires are wearing off? You look at the 42 of the McDonald's car all the way up, scoots underneath. They're 3 wide coming across the front. NOCO looks like he may be struggling right here.
The 42 of McDonald's car, that would be wicked. Again, like I said, this is so intense. Both my dogs are watching the TV right now. Blakey T's got that 37. I'm following him overhead, going down that backstretch right now. Guys, this could be anybody's race. If I was Blakey T, I would definitely be nervous, but you have to. Right now, this is where you have to pee nails. Excuse me. You have to piss nails. You have to be stone cold solid about what you do.
Guys, we got 4 laps to go.
We got that 37 right on the back of Blakey T. I'm sorry, Robbie. I didn't mean to cut you guys off. I'm over here, like, excited.
No, you're good, man. I mean, we're just sat here commentating this race, and this is like really good racing. I'm sat here, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, this is really good. This is going to be one to go back and look at right here. I mean, this is top-notch racers. The Cup Series of the Giggity Racing League, like we said earlier, nearly 100 racers in here, and these are the top guys battling it out at Chicago.
37 to the inside, Clay. Sorry to interrupt you.
You're good, buddy.
Get that momentum. I got the overhead view of them, though. This is the best view in the house of being the leaders right now. Oh, 37 drives it in. Blakey T drives right back down underneath him on that. He pulls him up in that draft. He's trying to pull the old, what do we call that? Slider. Doesn't work off as they cut down through the D-shape on the front stretch. 37's lead with Blakey T right behind him in the 88. Blakey T bumps him in the bumper. Lets him know that he's still there. Robbie, what are you seeing? Sorry, guys, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I'll take a moment here while Pudding goes off and gets a drink of water because
got about 2 laps to go, or a lap to go right here coming across the flag.
Yep, 1 or 2 laps to go, and this is some really interesting racing. The number 37 car, A Trout, coming out of nowhere, and over these past 5 laps, he's just taken that first position away from Blakey T.
Again, we know Trout is driving from the inside car cam right here at the lead of this race as Blakey T cuts down inside, gives him a little bump. Trout makes a block. This has got to be the last lap, guys. Here comes Blakey T and Trout. Number 37, number 88. Final corner. What's going to happen?
Blakey T has got to be excited for the way he's going to finish, but he's not going to give it up. A-Trout goes to the inside. Blakey T to the outside.
It's like one more lap.
Draft. Right
Here
to
we go.
left. There he goes.
Blakey T on the inside.
Blakey T gives him the old ha 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 bump and nudge as he goes right by him. He's one to defend. Gentlemen, this is going to be one hell of a post-race interview if Blakey T can pull this off. A-Trout has been up front most of the year. I got to see him win one. Here we go. A-Trout gets it by. Blakey T blocks it.
Side by side.
They touch.
Blakey
Blakey
T
T
barely
still to
crossed the
front.
line, and that's going to be the end of the race. That was a close finish right there as the Blakey T in the 88 hot seat running for the R.J. Smitty team.
Oh my gosh, guys! I'm telling you, the over the head car was the best way to watch that. Oh Lord, have mercy! Congratulations to Blakey T. No offense, guys. I think each of you owe me $5 because I did say Blakey T was my black horse to win that one early. So we'll discuss those matters later. But great race.
So
to
anyway,
Blakey
so
T.
the top three is
A-Trout.
A-Trout. In second, we got Blakey T. In third, we got Noco, and in fourth, we got Wicked Gatekeeper.
That is a lineup that should everything is so. Every week, everything can change. Noko is so strong, Trout is so strong, but then Wicked is so strong, and then everybody shows up, and then you get these hot sheets in there that can just throw a hot iron into a water pile, and everything changes. That was some great racing, guys. Holy cow!
Yeah, let's get these drivers in here. Let's go ahead and send Caddy and the 3 winners from the last 2 races invites to this party. If y'all would take care of that, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
all right. I'm just going to bring in Blakey T. Here's Tatty now. If Tatty could bring in A-Trout for us, that'd be brilliant. Say it again, Tatty, sorry. We'd like to interview the top 4, please. Oh yeah, yeah, and also Smitty for winning Michigan.
Wow, guys, what great racing Giggity Racing was produced again.
Yeah, that's some really interesting racing there. I mean, definitely some of the best racing I've seen in Giggity Racing League. I mean, they've had some closer racing before, but this was definitely up there with one of the best. So we're just working on
Thanks for having me again, Robbie, Clay.
Yeah.
Could not ask for a better broadcast night, having both of you in there with the close racing that we have tonight. Just to be able to broadcast this with you guys, amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, as we have the interviewers on the page. Once we have everybody in here, make sure to mention their car number. I'm going to keep it on the screen here, and we'll scroll through their car as they're talking.
Okay.
Yep. 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 Right there. Yep.
Yeah, man,
Thanks,
good racing.
Daddy. Great racing tonight.
Yeah, well done, bud. Okay, T. Clay, if you want to go ahead and start the interview with R.J. Smitty, I do believe he was the winner at Michigan.
R.J. Smitty, we've seen you come through mid-pack all the way up to the front. Can you hear me, Smitty?
Yep.
We saw you come from mid-pack all the way up to the front. What'd you do right there towards the end of the race, and how did you put your car in position to win that race there at Chicago, or Michigan?
Before we get started, guys, can you make sure that you got your voice settings on always allow, please?
Yes, everybody comes to the
Yeah, Michigan.
victory circle.
I don't know. I got back up there. I think I got
Please change it to
up to
always
second or
allow,
something
please.
like that. And then everybody ended up pitting
Thank you,
on
Robbie,
that
for
last
bringing that up.
restart, and I stayed out. because everybody pitted last second. So I stayed out, and I thought I was going to get freight trained on that last restart. Everybody else had fresher tires than I did, but they all kind of battled with each other, and I just kind of ran away.
Yeah, man, that was some good racing we saw from you there at Michigan. It's good to see you in the victory lane today.
Thank you.
I can't.
So RJ Smitty running in Michigan and then doing Chicagoland. I mean, it could definitely take its toll. But you running on a controller or a steering wheel?
I'm on a controller.
And how are you feeling after doing those 2 races?
Oh, I feel fine. I feel like let's line them up and let's get it going again.
Yeah, let's go again. But yeah, definitely some good racing from you. I mean, you were definitely up there. I mean, definitely during Michigan, you was hanging with the top 5 quite a lot throughout that race. I mean, what was the main focus in that last stage of Michigan?
Kind of stay within the top 5. I don't know, there was crazy racing all over the place. Guys were making some crazy moves, and I mean, they made it stick and everything. But I don't know, I felt like the safest place was stay in the top 5 and stay on the bottom.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Puddin', do you have any questions for Smitty? Anything you want to ask him?
Unfortunately, I can't hear Smitty, so I'll just relay my question through Robbie, since I can't hear him right now. Smitty, what was your nerve level like coming to the front, knowing the talent you had behind you? We always see you up front, and unfortunately, you get into some bad situations.
Yeah, I'd also just like to say, shout out to RJM. You know, we had a heck of a
how does that feel?
week
Like,
this week.
what do you think, and how do you
We
feel
came
with the
home. I
talent you
think
had
we got
behind
5
you?
wins this week or something like that, but we're turning it
Okay.
on.
We're having some sort of technical problem here. I mean, we've got RJ Smitty and Puddin' talking at the same time.
What he
but
was
just relay-
asking
Yeah, go
was,
ahead.
with the talent behind you, you knew you had some hot seat drivers in there. One of the hot seat drivers was actually one of your own teammates. Was it hard to battle some of those guys that you haven't raced with before to push your way up there to the lead?
Well, Blakey, not really. I've seen him race a lot, and I know I kind of get how he races. You know, he's a clean guy and everything. So I mean, I had all the trust in the world of racing alongside him.
That's good.
As far as a couple others out there, I know I haven't really raced with too often, but it seemed like everybody was pretty respectful and able to kind of hold their own throughout the night.
Heck yeah, man. Hey, man, good racing. We appreciate you coming in here doing the interview for the post race. Congratulations on your win tonight, and good luck to you for the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll see you out there shining brightly at the All-Star race.
Please extend my congratulations to Mr. Smith.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, so by the looks of it, we've also got Blakey T and A Trout in here. I mean, just to speak to them both quickly at the same time. Those last few laps, boys, very interesting racing. I mean, what was going through your mind when you was racing one another?
Really, I was trying to be careful, definitely, because I knew that Trout had at least one of the fastest cars on the field. So I knew that if he got ahead of me, I was in trouble, and he did, But we were just kind of fighting for everything we can, and my car felt better on the long runs, and I was making it stick on the bottom, and I'm just amazed how we didn't end in a crash there, because it was intense, but I think it was a couple laps before. It was like 2 laps to go, and I think he threw a block on me, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I probably shouldn't have done that move, but I went ahead and did it, and so I was like, okay, it's fair game now. I hate to be that, but it was fun. It was intense. My heart was beating pretty fast. So
You can do that, yeah.
but definitely I had fun. Like I said, Trout's one of the best in this league. So
Let me know when they're
definitely
clear.
definitely one of the best races I've raced so far. So
What
Yeah,
about
man.
you,
Good
Trout?
job. Good job, Blakey.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to feed off on that and say that was a hell of a race. That was a lot of fun as well. Congrats to Blakey on that win. I knew he had a fast car as well. There at the end, I was just trying to stick with him when I was sitting in third and Noko was in front there, and I was just gonna just chill right behind Blakey and just kind of work our, get both of us up there, and we ended up doing that. He actually got a little bit, him and Noko racing each other pretty hard, got me up there. But then, toward the end, I was on bald tires. My tire lights had been on for probably 2 or 3 laps at that point, coming to that white flag. And no, I did give him a pretty hard block there on the back stretch with like 4 laps to go. So, that's just racing. I'm just trying to keep the win. And I got a little I hit the apron coming into one and gave him the door, and he took it as he should. And, coming to the flag there, I had a run, and he kind of got to my side there and kind of got me a little squirrely and took it home. But, man, that was a fun race. 2 top fives for the night. I can't be too mad. Finishing 5th and finishing 2nd. So, all around, good night for me. Smitty was fast all night as well. Noko was fast. So, it was, we all hope everybody enjoyed it just like we did.
Yeah, Blakey and Trout, let me tell you what, if y'all get the chance, go watch that live broadcast that we're filming right now and go to the 15 laps to go and watch it. That was some of the best racing I think I've ever seen on NASCAR Heat 4.
Heck yeah.
I will definitely do that.
It was awesome. I'm telling you what, we were pumped up in the booth. It was unbelievable finish.
Good. Yeah, I was
Dude,
pumped up on the track, man. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Like I said, whenever I passed Noko and I see Trout behind me, I was like, oh gosh, okay. So, like I said, my heart started beating. I was getting amped up. So I was like, okay, one wrong move, and that's it. So, it was awesome. That was probably the best race I've had in a long time. So,
yeah,
that was a lot of
congratulations
fun.
to both of you, man. That was some good racing, clean racing. And Blakey T, man, way to pull off the finish there. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, well done.
Thank you.
Blakey T, this is Puddin'.
Hello.
You were my quote-unquote dark horse to win the second race. Because we've seen how many times that you've been leading, you've been up front in your other GRL races. What was going through your mind with 2, 3 to go, and you have some of the best with Trout and Noko right behind you? What was going through your mind
Well,
in your first Cup race?
Well, my first Cup race, it did. My first one was at where were we at? Michigan, and it didn't really pan out the way I planned. But I had a strong car, and that race is over. But I tell you, I felt pretty good at Chicagoland. I knew that I know how to drive this track pretty well. But like I was telling him, my car was better on the long runs, so I felt better towards the end. But once I passed Noko, I said, okay, this is my chance because I know how fast Noko is. Then I see Trout catch up a little bit when me and Noko were battling. I was like, okay. So it's a little stressful, but, you have to hold it together. You have to hold it together, and even though my heart was going crazy with that, man, I was nervous, but you just have to stay patient, make sure you don't hit that apron, because I did it a couple times. I actually did it on the last lap in turn 4. So it was intense. Like, I didn't think I was going to win that, because I thought that was it. I messed up on the last turn. But I managed to pull it together and got RJM their 8th win of the season, maybe 9th. But yeah, we're having a strong run right now. It's been on a hot streak, so I'm glad to continue that streak. So
Congratulations, Blakey. Like I said, you are one of my dark horses going to race. Hey, Trout.
absolutely.
Let me ask you a
Thank you.
question. As a broadcaster who's done this a couple times now, you're one of my favorite guys to always click through. And how is it that you always seem to be in the right position at the right time, coming through unfortunate circumstances throughout the race?
That's a good question. A lot of this stuff, I won't say it's all luck, but there's a lot of luck that goes on. I can only control what I got going on. So, usually I kind of stay more on the patient side, and try to work with people to get us both up to the front kind of thing. That usually works out. Sometimes, obviously toward the end and, people are getting a little more aggressive. You kind of have to take those holes and, be respectful as well. But, just trying to stay clean, honestly, and being patient for me, it usually works out. Not being too aggressive early and burning your stuff off and having stuff for the end and stuff like that. So, stuff like these two tracks right here, they're strong draft tracks. So you just kind of have to find the right people who are strong and just kind of stick with them and, just hold your line and really. But I appreciate the kind words there, man.
Yeah, I always tend to migrate toward, because you always run such a fluent, smooth line, and it doesn't matter how late in your run where you're taking the run off, or what track we're at, what line we run. You always seem to put yourself in that right predicament, and I like the word that you used, and we bring it up quite a bit in pre-race conversation, is patience, and you said that you're patience. Man, you're still one of my favorites, and that won't change. I'm not biased, but as a broadcaster, I gotta be equal to everybody. But I tend to watch you a lot because you're always up front with great racing, and keep me going, man. Congratulations on your great runs tonight, and know that you have a lot of supporters out there.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'll keep doing the best I can.
Have a good night, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. Congratulations.
See you guys. Thanks for having me in here.
Right, so I'm just looking for Noko. We're going to bring him into the booth and interview. Looking through here. If you boys just want to do an overall, what do you call it, on the race and what your thoughts were on the final finish?
Yeah, man, it was wild.
Get a aspect on Noko, who always runs up front. I want to know how he back a little bit towards the rear, which is an unfortunate circumstance for him.
Is Noko in here with us yet?
No, not yet. I'm just putting it on public so he can join in and we can take it from there. But wow, just wow, what a night, Michigan.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Chicagoland.
I'll definitely go back and watch that one. That was a fantastic finish.
10 to 3 in the morning here, and I'll tell you what, it was worth it. What an awesome race. I mean, Blakey T, A Trout, Noko at the end, Wicked Gatekeeper coming out of nowhere also. I mean, A Trout, coming up there out of nowhere and just taking that position was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe he done it. We thought the battle for the finish was going to be between Blakey T and Noko.
Yep.
And that's something you don't see very often with him. Maybe with Noko made a small mistake or something. But at the same time, it's such a great opportunity to see other people up front. But Noko came from the back numerous times, whether it be pit strategy or unfortunate circumstances. Noko came from the back numerous times, as we've seen in the past. He is a great, talented driver. And Noko knows how to work his way up, be patient, work everybody else, get to where he wants, pressure them, make them drive out of that rear mirror. He is, for Giggity Racing League, in one way or another, what we would call the intimidator. People see that number one car in their rear view, they get nervous. They start rear view driving.
Well, I just got to cut you off there, and I got to say, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. And Noko, it's your settings on always allow?
Let me check real quick, guys. How are y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Top.
Glad to have you in the booth, man. Awesome racing tonight.
We're doing great.
It's an honor to talk to you.
Yeah, we're on Always Allow. Before you guys ask me any questions, I just got one thing to say, man. Mistakes. I made far too many mistakes when I had a 1.3 second lead, and it ultimately cost me. I'm a little upset with myself, but that's racing. You make those mistakes and you start letting guys get back into the mix and stuff, and you can't win races like that. So I'm really pissed off at myself right now. Kind of gave that away at the end, but we're just gonna move on next week and see how it goes.
I'd just like to say a couple of things. 1 second, but I just got to ask you a couple of things. I mean, first of all, please don't curse. We're still live. And second of all, I would like to ask you, is it fair to say that maybe
being, having that lead of 1.3 seconds, did you get relaxed or did you lose concentration and miss your mark, or what happened?
Yeah, it just came down to I missed my marks going into turn one, and the car plowed up the track, and at that point it gave up the entire lead and got Buck right back on my bumper, and I was trying to fight him off for a little while and trying not to use up my tires as much as I could, and thankfully I was able to pull back away for a little bit, and then I messed up again going into turn one, and it allowed all those guys to catch back up, and by that time I had already wore out my tires so bad because I was trying to fight to get that clean air to stay up front, and it is what
Well,
it
you
is.
got a third. You did get a third though.
Yes, I did come on third.
Yeah, so it's still a strong position. Go ahead, Puddin.
Let me ask you something. Yeah, no, because this is Puddin. I broadcasted quite a few of your races. You're always a dominant force. Now, the fact that you said 1.3 seconds, do you think that you said yourself the word mistake could have come from paying attention to what lead you had and what gap was? You were driving out of that the gauge meter up there of distances instead of paying attention in front of what's in front of you?
Well, what actually made me mess up is when you cross the start-finish line and the little screen pops up showing you how many laps to go.
Mm-hmm.
Mine popped up a little late on a couple laps, and I looked over at it at the wrong time, and it threw off my whole entry. And it is what it is, man. Shout out to those guys; they were able to get the win. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't stop 4 cars from passing me at that point, and it was game on. I was just hoping that those guys would stay side by side long enough for me to catch up because my tires were they were pretty good. My tire light wasn't on, so I still had enough tire. I just couldn't catch that draft again to be able to do anything at the end.
At the end of the night, though, you're still in the box. You still finish third. You are still NOCO, and you still are forced to be reckoned with for the points championship, especially going to the All-Star race next week. Next week's a fun week. Are you going to try anything, try to experiment, and have fun, knowing that there's not as much pressure next week, NOCO?
I don't think it would be any less pressure than it would be on any other race day because I myself strive for perfection, and even if I don't have the fastest car on the track, I'm going to try to find any way I can to win the race, whether it be pit strategy or, put myself in position, hopefully somebody in front, with me hassling them makes a mistake. That's what I try to do. I try to really intimidate anybody in front of me to get them out of the way, one false move, and, that's how I've always been. I try to be patient. That first race at Michigan was definitely tested my patience, but we worked past it. But I definitely want to give a shout out to RJM Motorsports. As much as I hate to say it, I am a little bit of a sore loser, in some sense, but at the same time, I can give credit where credit's due. And
Yeah.
By doing that, that doesn't make you a sore loser. By doing that, that does not make you a sore loser. That makes you a racer and a competitor. By giving credit where credit is due, that gives you sportsmanship, and we all admire that.
I appreciate that, guys. We just got beat. I handed it away at the end there, and I'm really beating myself up about that. And too many mistakes, guys. That ultimately was basically the clincher for the entire night in both races. Was too many mistakes.
Yeah, it happens to all of us.
Hey man, don't beat yourself up about it. You're a great racer. You're one of the top guys in the Giggity Racing League. We appreciate you coming in the booth, man. Good luck next week, and good luck to the rest of the season.
I appreciate that.
Don't get yourself beat up about it, man. It's just one race.
Yeah.
Congratulations
we'll come
on your
back next
races,
week.
your success.
Default's just not my thing. I'm not a default racer. But we'll go at it, man. Can't wait for the All-Star race. You guys did a heck of a job, and appreciate you guys as always.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
Anytime. Man. Have a good night.
You
Good
too.
to talk to you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you very soon.
Well, there you go, guys. My team captain, NOCO. What a guy. I mean, saying the boys did a good job.
from another team and maybe being a little too hard on himself. But I reckon he'll be back with a vengeance, and definitely going to see him in that first place again.
Yep.
But it's so awesome to be in the booth with you guys. I've said it numerous times in the great racing we've had. But to see a couple different winners, especially to see a hot seat winner again, like we had Habab a couple weeks ago, we had Blakey T tonight, that shows the talent that Giggity Racing implies that and recruits. You know what I'm saying? And you both being part of that should feel very honored. And I can't wait to broadcast not only with you guys again, but to broadcast your guys' races in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, well, like I keep saying, what a night, and more racing to come.
Yep.
Here at Giggity Racing League, we do racing every night on a Monday to Sunday. So, keep looking on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell button to get notified of the next race. And stick with us. And if you want to join us, don't be afraid to ask. You'll find us on Facebook, Twitter. And you can also comment on one of our videos and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, everybody that's watching this video, if you're watching it live, if you're watching it a couple of days from now, a week from now, a year from now, we appreciate you watching the video. As always, it's a pleasure to have Puddin' and Robbie Vids here with me in the booth. Thank you guys for participating and helping make Giggity Racing League what it is with sitting in the booth with us together, man. It was a pleasure. I had fun. Thank y'all for watching. Everyone have a good night. That will end the broadcast. Thank you for watching the Chicagoland Giggity Racing Elite Series 200.